told from day one that the formula for success is simple: go to school, get a degree, and get a good job. But for millions of people, following those rules perfectly still leads to a desk covered in past due notices. Colleges mandate courses in calculus, astronomy, and anthropology for you to graduate, yet they almost entirely leave out the practical money management skills required to actually survive in a capitalist economy. Because we aren't taught how to handle our finances, a massive portion of the population enters the real world blind, living paycheck to paycheck on a razor's edge. Right now, up to 40% of Americans do not have the funds to cover a sudden $400 emergency. To achieve true financial independence, you have to look past the basic get a job myth. You need to master a specific set of rules about money that no professor will ever put on a syllabus. The traditional education system focuses on creating reliable workers. In this environment, proactive financial literacy functions as a mandatory survival skill. The first phase of this strategy focuses on defense. Before you can grow your wealth, you have to plug the wealth leaks, the silent drains that siphon away the money you actually earn. The biggest leak happens before the money even hits your bank account. There is a wide gap between your gross salary and your actual take-home pay, mostly driven by marginal tax rates. Take a look at this. If you earn a $35,000 annual salary, living and working in Manhattan, after federal and state taxes are deducted, you are actually left with about $26,399 to live on. Another major leak is college debt. Society treats heavy student loans as a mandatory requirement for a degree. But an expensive private tuition isn't the only way to launch a successful career. There are alternative pathways. Institutions like Davidson College actively structure their financial aid to help students graduate without falling into a massive debt trap. You can find localized alternative education models outside major economic hubs like Charlotte, allowing access to a great education at a fraction of the cost. The final layer of defense is shielding your money from sudden disasters. That means keeping 6 months of living expenses saved somewhere accessible, securing a term life insurance policy if people depend on you, and actively maintaining your physical health to avoid catastrophic medical bills. Without addressing these systemic leaks, taxes, debt, and medical costs, it becomes mathematically difficult to retain the wealth you generate over the long term. Once the leaks are plugged, you have to manage your day-to-day cash flow. Nobody actually likes tracking every single penny they spend. Instead, use what we call tactical budgeting. This means looking at your income over a 6-month timeline and setting up systems to split your paycheck into separate, automated accounts for needs, wants, and savings. Part of that daily operation is managing credit. Many young adults are taught that credit cards are inherently dangerous and should be avoided entirely. Take my friend Kevin. He responsibly avoided credit cards his entire youth. But when he finally went to buy a home and a car, his loan applications were denied, simply because he had no established credit history. Here is how the system actually works. Financial institutions track your credit card usage and whether you pay your balance on time. They use that data to assign you a risk score, and that score acts as the gatekeeper, determining the size of the loans you can get and the interest rates you'll pay. Mastering your tactical cash flow and purposefully building a high credit score form the operational foundation you need to deploy real wealth. Now it's time to go on offense. We need to look at wealth engines, the strategies that actively multiply the money you keep. School teaches you to save 10% of your income, but the math shows that for someone living on a regular paycheck, retiring comfortably actually requires an aggressive saving rate closer to 25 to 40%. The same goes for real estate. We're told we must save a 20% down payment before buying a house. But in an economy with stagnant wages and rapidly appreciating property values, waiting to save that full 20% often means you are just chasing a moving target as prices climb. The ultimate wealth engine that schools completely ignore is the power of compound interest. Compare two choices. On the left, a flat $3,000 right now. On the right, a single penny that doubles daily for 30 days. Most intuitively take the fast cash, but let the math run course and it compounds to over $10 million. Starting as early as possible allows time and exponential math to perform the heavy lifting that physical labor alone cannot achieve. Adopting these 10 rules allows you to navigate the gaps in the educational system and build wealth with deliberate intent. It comes down to a constant audit of your leaks versus your growth. Ruthlessly defending your money from taxes and debt is exactly as important as aggressively compounding it. Run the numbers to calculate your true take-home pay. Automate a 6-month emergency fund. Open a credit card and pay it off immediately to build your history. And start investing today to capture as much time as possible. Personal finance is the hidden backbone of every success story. If you want more strategies to build your abundance and stay ahead of the game, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next one.